Look how the devil is investing on the so-called Christian and those who insist calling themselves Jews, the so-called Israelis. Even if they try to hide it by those who are, for example, from Armenia, those who are from MISSIEAH, or those who are from Persia, the Goyim, or others from Russia, or others from Africa, or others from Europe, or even China and Pakistan. The so-called Christians are known. I mean, the Roman Catholic, the Universal Roman so-called Christian Church is known of being, based on the history, that they showed a big. I'm not questioning it, and I'm not criticizing it, and I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just explaining about the so-called Christian Catholic Church. Showed the resentment and disrespect to the Jewish people in many mahattat zamaniya, in many times within the last 17th century, since the establishment by Constantine, who so many call the father, at a certain level, the father of the so-called Christian Church. Anyway, this is not a debate. I'm just saying facts, and you need to put it through your mind if you are human enough. Now, the so-called Christian Catholic Church would never help in establishing a so-called Israeli state. Never. Now you can see how Satan is reforming the so-called Christian faith and establishing the so-called Christian Protestant. And Henry VIII was rejecting it, but then he accepted, he took it, because by it he is taking independent from the main one. Now regardless, the so-called Christian Protestant church is behind this what is the word of it? The seed. You can find the seed that the devil have put. So I'm talking about Satan himself. He's working everywhere. Satan himself. I think I'm gonna explain in Arabic another video about Satan and how he looked to human in Arabic. Now, better. That's the so-called Christian, whatever Arabic. Those who speak Arabic who have a problem with understanding Islam. Even some Muslim those who call themselves Muslim, but they do not understand. They never understood what is Islam. That's why they call themselves ex-Muslim. A Muslim will never be an ex. Do you hear me? A Muslim will never be an ex-Muslim. You can criticize this as much as you want, but anyway, the so-called the seed where the devil have put within the so-called Protestant church to allow an establishment. If you look at the Catholic church and what happened, I'm not gonna go deep in Europe, Catholicism, and what Industrial Revolution, Martin Luther King, and how he criticized. I'm talking about the European Magog, and within the Magog nation, regardless of his personality, Martin Luther King, who criticized the Catholic Church, and he put a lot of points against it. And others, even Marcus himself. If you go to the Orthodox Catholic Church, the chance to look at the Nazis in Europe. There was more capability to persecute Jews, even in Russia before. But this is not the point. They persecuted themselves. I do not accept if a Jew come to me and say, yeah, the European dealt with it. No, they persecuted each other. The church persecuted the so-called Christians. The so-called Christians persecuted each other. World War II, the so-called Christians lost a lot of their loved ones, and it's something to do with Europe. Now, when I go to the so-called Protestant church, to America, and Anglican, American things like that, it started in a way or another with the circle, and at the time of Henry VIII have opened this gate. Now, Henry VIII himself would say, I would never accept establishing a so-called Israeli state. That this is how the devil is reforming the schools of monkeys and pigs. I'm not saying something. This is what God is, and I have explained how God makes the Messiah after the death of a human being, and then assign him to the structure of pigs or monkeys until the judgment day. It is time for you to laugh if you have a problem with this. You will be in hellfire after the judgment day if you are not gonna recognize what I'm trying to say here, which is there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is the final messenger. If there is anything I am saying against the teaching of God, just don't لا تتبعون أهواءكم, don't mess around, then don't accept it. But I do not say anything except except if I have reviewed it from A to Z before I say it. Maybe some points while I'm angry, yes, but not this one. Now, do you see how the devil is bringing secularism and liberalism and adding it to the so-called Catholic Church and adding it to the so-called Orthodox Church, and adding it to the so-called Christian Protestant Church? If you're angry, fuck you. I am the one who should be angry, not you, for the shit I'm dealing here with. Not here, but so-called secularism, liberalism have brought a new environment where the European Jewish, who insist on calling themselves Jew, and the European so-called Christian would accept each other to deal with another enemy, the enemy of their God, their Caesar, Satan. Do you understand me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the owner of existence, the creator of existence, the founder of existence, have made a line and a path to his people, okay? So that they would be in heaven and paradise, salvation. This is how it is now. Satan, starting from Gog and Magog, want to destroy, I'm not talking about all, among them wonderful Muslims. Now, Muslims, Mohammedan, you cannot be a Muslim except if you're a Mohammedan. You cannot worship a wild beast, and you cannot depend on a manipulated, fucked up, sick books that you relate to the inspiration of God, to the messengers. You can't. Then you say that you are the people of God. No, you're not. Now, you're the people of darkness, bringing damage to humanity, and you will pay a big price either in this life or definitely in the hereafter. Now, but definitely within the long term, maybe it depends on this life and thereafter, confirmed 100%. Now, how he made them help to join team. I mean, if you return back to the history in Europe, the first crusade showed big disrespect to the Jewish European themselves. I have explained that before Constantine, my ancestor as an Israelite used to be persecuted. Either they want to call themselves Yehudian, or they want to call themselves Christian, because they used to raise their voices saying that we want to return back to the Holy Land. And the Romans wanted to stop this, and the Romans, سياسة الأمر الواقع, the Romans want to send a message that we are there, the Mediterranean is ours, we are taking and occupying the Holy Land, settling there, and that's it. So, but after Constantine, no, the persecution, because so many different things that happened in accurate, I need to close. So the environment in after Constantine, the persecution start to occur because so many changes have occurred within the community who start accepting the so-called Christian, which is pagan and some manipulated verses, and then they stick it together like it's stuck, like Satan is sticking things in your brain while you think through your ass, whatever. So he did this, the devil definitely, and created the so-called Christian faith. Now, Constantine to Muhammad, peace be upon him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have inspired to the final messenger Muhammad, and he said, I want those, he didn't say this this way, but I'm just explaining that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I want this disgusting, listening cockroach, those who are gonna be in hellfire, those scourged ones outside. I can interfere, I can destroy planet Earth, dunya, this life, existence. I can finish you all, but this is still the divine plan, to see who is in heaven, overcoming the sin, the darkness, or who is in hellfire, like the Roman Catholic, for example, and the other European Gog and Magog who are taking the Holy Land. Don't delete my video. Wallahi, I am saying the truth. You need to wake up. The 7 billion need to wake up. They should thank me, not to put a statue for me. They should recognize me as a good. Once they are a Muslim, they shouldn't recognize me as the Messiah coming back after 2,000 years. If you become a Muslim, this is not the second adjustment. My name is Tariq. I'm a good person. Leave me alone. Let's hope till the end, because this pressure is not normal. Even to someone in my status. Now, Alhamdulillah, shukrullah. The Holy Land, again and again, the Holy Land. What I say is the truth from A to Z. Let's all be, let's develop ourselves and go to this to the level of being human and submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you cannot be submitted from these except if you are a Mohammedan. This is the divine plan era. Otherwise, go to hell. You are definitely to the path of hellfire. You cannot see yourself. You cannot yourself. May you be in destruction. I am in a level of anger right now with those people. Not I shouldn't identify it as anger. But anyway, so Muhammad, peace be upon him, went and marched after his death. The believers marched like Moses after his death. The believer marched to the Holy Land and changed the calculation in the Holy Land. No more dark by the Phoenix, no more dark by the Chaldean, no more dark. It's for the real Israelis. Now this needs a lot of explanation, and they took it based on for a certain reasons. That is the center of planet Earth. This should be for the Iqamat al-Hujjah and ground of excuse, and it should be. But that's based on instruction of God. Now when Muhammad came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the same, and he gave an instruction, and the believers have marched and they liberated the Holy Land from intruders who come from Roman and the Chaldean and Phoenix. And the native Israelis were liberating the Holy Land for themselves as a Muslim, not like those who start dancing Hagan and Havana, who are terrorists until Sabra Shatila, and others who are goyim coming and occupying country not yours and becoming a factor of bringing crisis to the Middle East. I'm talking about the so-called Israeli establishment, and lately the intruder, non-Israeli goyim Gentile ISHKNAZI, NETINYAHO, definitely they will be angry. The stealers is always someone stealing something not his will be angry. I'm talking about NETINYAHO, who's representing him right now. Okay, did you understand the point? Look how so-called Christianity is reformed by Satan, the father of it, who is owned as a creature. He's a slave to the owner of existence, Allah, who I worship, who sent messengers, and Muhammad is the final messenger, sent the Messiah, son of Virgin Mary, and he's a messenger. Don't believe the crap that the Romans brought. I mean, study history and give it some time. Who empowered? Look at the so-called Christians, empowered the so-called Shiite, who got nothing to do with the Ilahiyin, the godly people, got nothing to do with the Muslims, got nothing to do with the believers who follow the path of messengers. Do you see what's happening in this planet? Gog Magog and other thing. Some bad Africans giving a terrible accusation against Muhammad, peace be upon him, or certain authentic group in Middle East. By this they satisfy the Gog and Magog who want to steal our Holy Land, and steal our oil, and make us look very terrible in this world. So I'm just a result. Anyway, do you see the so-called this? What I am saying is a result of well, definitely something is talking to me, not human. But yeah, and you know it. There is people who are start to sense it, and I need them to back off. I seriously أشفق عليكم من العذاب اللي ممكن تجيبون على أنفسكم. I don't know how to say it in English. I will feel pity for you from the pain that you can bring to yourself. Unbelievable punishment. Leave me alone. I know my line. That's it. Let's stick to the rules. I'm a human being. Just fuck off. Now, and study things. But definitely it's scriptures, books, it's wisdom, it's hikmah. I give it to you in videos, so you should be thankful to me. And definitely, I'm giving you the path of heaven and the hereafter, not hellfire, the salvation. Forget about me. There is messengers. Muhammad is the final messenger. End of the story. In messengers, Muhammad is the final messenger. Allah is the owner of existence. This is the most respectable, close, relative, appropriate term for us to recognize the creator of existence, all existence, the father of works, Allah. Okay. Allah يضاعف. Do you see how the so-called Christian right now and the so-called Israeli system calling themselves Jews, these two groups, which is called Christianity and Judea, working in certain circles just to ruin the instruction of God? It is, I'm not sure if I can explain perfectly, but it is a disaster on humanity. It is disgusting. It is something creep. Please don't delete this video. Thank you.